The man disguises himself as an expert and secretly mixes spit into the wine. When the Middle Eastern tycoon sits down in front of him, the man quickly begins to study the tycoon's rare watch. But when Bond reveals that the watch is worth at least $5 million, he realizes that the tycoon doesn't want to talk to him. So Bond has the nerve to approach the tycoon with the intention of spilling his drink on him. Bond then apologizes and pretends to wipe up the man's drink because it's the only way he can steal the room card from his wallet. Unbeknownst to him, Bond would pay a terrible price. When Bond sneaks into the tycoon's presidential suite, he steals his box of world-class watches, but just as he's about to leave, he hears footsteps outside the door, followed by several bodyguards with live ammunition. The moment the tycoon realized that the watch was missing, the bodyguards inside the room quickly occupy every corner of the presidential suite, while all the bodyguards outside the room directly surrounded the building. But when they reached the door of the suite, they found Bond already on the elevator downstairs. But not only did the bodyguards not panic, they even brought over a supercar to see Bond off. When he realizes it's too late, it turns out to be a Middle Eastern tycoon, but Bond has to get into it, because if he doesn't get into the tycoon's car, he'll have to get into the police's car. It turns out that Bond had just escaped from prison a few hours earlier. As the police got closer, the tycoon hit the gas and took off. Unbeknownst to him, the police cars behind him are not only in hot pursuit, but are even prepared to use their surefire American-style stop. After a fast and furious race, the two of them made it to the airport, but with the tycoon's 3 accomplices. Bond is forced to board the tycoon's private jet because it's the only way to avoid being caught by the pursuing police. Once on board, Bond realized that everything that had happened today had been a setup by the tycoons to force Bond to join them. If he doesn't, they'll give the police the surveillance footage of Bond stealing the watch. The thought that he'd been outmaneuvered by a Middle Eastern tycoon was an instant turnoff for Bond. But when the tycoon told him why he was joining him, Bond was overjoyed that they were after a shipment of gold worth $1 billion. But the gold is hidden in a high-security prison, and even though they're all highly skilled, they're not familiar with prisons, so they have to enlist Bond, the master escapologist, to join them. When he hears about this, Bond